Final Fantasy was Squaresoft's first major game, and is the reason they're where they are now. To this day, it is still an ongoing series with 16 installments and multiple spin-offs, so I wanted to go back to where it all began and see for myself the beginning of greatness. Now, I wanted to play the original, which I have, but my NES decided to bite the dust, so this was my next option, but it's not a bad one. Welcome to my review of Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I do hope you enjoy it and get something from it. Let's get into it. The story starts with 4 young warriors who are tasked with saving the world from being plunged into darkness. To do this, they must go on a journey to bring life back to the 4 elemental crystals and restore the balance. Squaresoft has always been known for creating extremely deep and compelling stories, even for one of their very first games. Though I will admit, I didn't really expect much from this game, with it being on the NES, it really blew my mind. Final Fantasy 1 takes you through an amazing adventure, filled with ups and downs. I absolutely love this story, and it's just reminded me why I love this series to begin with. The ending especially surprised me, but you will all just have to play the game to figure that out. Now, just the original game alone has so much to the actual gameplay itself that it was already fantastic, without the addition that the Pixel Remastered brings. So, I mainly will be talking about what Final Fantasy 1 brought to the table, and sideline most of those new features that we see with the remaster. Up first is the combat, of course, which we all know is turn-based. Now, I am usually an avid hater of turn-based, with there being very few games that I truly enjoy, and this one is kinda one of them. The main reason I hate turn-based so much is that it just takes control from you. I like to be able to move around, dodge, and weave through attacks, memorize patterns, and come up with a good attack. Turn-based, you kinda just pick an option, wait for your turn, and hope it works out. Now with Final Fantasy 1, it's pretty much the same thing with a little more intricacy to it. You can't just pick your attacks, you have to strategize and plan your next move, and know your party's skills. Which is fun, but you mainly see this with the bosses. Not a lot of the enemies you encounter will be so hard that you have to actually try. Though I will admit, I was using the boost in XP that comes with the remaster, so my opinion can't really be valid. Moving on. When you start the game, you have the choice between 6 members, each with a different class, but you can only have 4 in your party, so be careful with who you choose, because once you have decided, you're locked in for the rest of the game. I believe Final Fantasy 1 is the only game in the series that does this, which makes sense due to its age. Others like Final Fantasy 2 allow you to either switch party members or classes later in the game. So when it comes to this, Final Fantasy 1 is just basic, and the only thing close to a class change is when you get an upgrade around the middle portion of the game. That doesn't mean Final Fantasy 1 doesn't have more to offer. Though they have a limited selection of classes and upgradability, they make up for it with your abilities. Every party member can gain some type of ability from 2 main categories, white or black magic. These abilities depend upon the classes you choose for your party, though you do not gain access to these spells/abilities right away. You have to buy them. So you're kinda just out of luck for a little bit, but no worries because the game spawns you right in front of a town. Each town you visit will have shops for each type of magic. That magic will be low tier at first, so just some basic support and attack spells, but as you progress, the strength of the magic will go up. It kinda works like Dungeons & Dragons, with them having a tier system for their spells. You can only have a certain number of spells for each tier, in this case it's 3. So once the level is filled up, you will have to forget one to add another. So make sure you choose correctly, because those spells will get expensive. I really like the spells in this game, but I don't like the fact that you have to buy them. I understand they are like spell tomes that you have to read, but they are just so expensive towards the later stages. I know that this is fixed in the later games, so I'm not too worried about it. I just hated the usage of them in this one, but thankfully you have your equipment to rely on. The next subject is equipment, which is really cool. The game offers various ways to get a hold of some good gear. The main way, of course, is going to the shops. Like with spells, each town, except for one, has equipment stores. They sell all kinds of armor and weapons that get stronger as you visit other towns throughout the game. Each area you explore will have a treasure chest that will have various items in it. Some of the best gear I had was found in the dungeons. Also, if you're lucky, you will find an enchanted item that will give you a leg up in your fight with certain bosses. So make sure you're very thorough in your search through the dungeons. I'm glad they didn't make the shops the only option for gear. I kinda get that you can't just find spells lying around, but gear makes sense. Your equipment was also very well balanced. It gave you a leg up, but didn't flip the fights entirely in your favor. You still had to strategize and plan, especially since you didn't know what enemies you were going to encounter. Now, my favorite and most action-packed part is the boss fights. You face around 10 bosses, with 4 core bosses that guard the elemental crystals. Each fight is a unique one, where you face off against the deadliest foes. They also just look so cool. I mean, the art style is amazing. This is really where you need to strategize, because if you don't, you will die. Some of these bosses can get really hard, no matter what level you get to, but that doesn't bother me. I love difficult fights. I might get really upset and frustrated, but it just makes it so much better when I finally beat them. Great job, Squaresoft. In this game, you travel a lot. I mean, you have a big map to explore. Thankfully, Squaresoft offers many forms of transportation to get you from point A to B. Starting, you just walk, which will get you to most of your locations. After a while, you come across a ship that you can use to travel even farther, and it will help you progress in the game. They even give you a little canoe to traverse the rivers in certain areas. Then, once you reach right around the midpoint of the game, you get the airship. That just makes all forms of transportation pretty much obsolete. This was a really cool addition, and I'm so glad they added it. Now for the last point, the level and world design, which really surprised me. Each area is amazingly designed and so cool to look at. There are so many places for you to go to with their own unique look to them. The remaster also really just refined those colors and pixels, giving the game a completely new look. And that's honestly about it. I mean, the game is old and pixelated, but sometimes simple is good. The maps are huge, incredibly themed, and well detailed. Great job. Overall, this was a fantastic game and an awesome first start to the franchise. So my rating would be a 9.5 out of 10. There was so much more to this game than I originally thought. With its gameplay mechanics and level design, this was just a well-rounded game. Though it can always use improvement, especially with the class system, we already know they end up improving that as well. So great job, Squaresoft. Let me know what y'all thought, and please, if there was something that I didn't add or got wrong, let me know. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.